Hi everyone and welcome to a new video of Gamegear. As you can see, we got a new setup going on. I really hope you guys like it. If you do, don't forget to press the thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe now because that will help me and the channel a lot. So in this video, we're going to take a look at an Antec case that was sent to us by Antec themselves. It's a DP501. The white edition, of course. You can have a black one as well. It's an entry case for about 70-80 euros. You should be able to find it on the market. It's not the biggest one, but you can put in a full-size ATX motherboard, so there's no issue there, and you get a lot of features for a very nice price. So we're gonna take a look what you can expect, and then we're gonna do a little build with it because I have a demo PC in store that, in my opinion, didn't have enough RGB in it. Okay, that means there is only one thing left to do, and that is take all of this old little monster and put it into the new case and then upgrade it with all of this. Let's get started. So when we take a look at the case, what can we expect? Well, first of all, we have a very easy to remove grid right here, which is like a dust filter that you can easily vacuum. And we got a similar thing right here at the bottom to filter the air that's going to the power supply. Now, when it comes to the motherboard, as you can see, there is just enough for an ATX motherboard and everything that is smaller, of course. When it comes to fans, we have one 120mm fan here at the back. We got 3 fans pre-installed in the case here in the front, which should create definitely enough airflow. If you want to change the fans, put some RGB fans in there. Know that there is only room for 120 here. You can put 2 140mm fans here in the front, or 3 120mm, and you can put on 2 fans here at the top, or take a radiator that is no bigger than 2 fans, either 120mm or 140mm will fit. When we go to the back of the case, then we will see there is an RGB hub right here. So there is no fan controller, but it shouldn't be an issue because we got this in the box. So it's a splitter for all the 4 fans. So just put it in here and then plug it straight into the power supply. So you won't be able to control the fan speeds, but hey, the fans will work. When it comes to the RGB, the only product that is connected, which is immediately integrated into the case, is the LED strip. So that goes in here. And that's right now the only RGB product that is integrated. And we still have 6 different ports left to connect other RGB devices. Then when we look at the other options, so we got plenty of space here to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different SSD hard drives, and then 2 more for the bigger ones. They go right here, but I don't think many people use the bigger hard drives anymore, especially now that SSDs are becoming so cheap. And then of course here goes the power supply. When we take a look at the front, we of course see the LED strip that goes right here, which will be connected to the RGB controller right there. By the way, you can connect the RGB controller with this, which is definitely compatible with Asus, Gigabyte, MSI, and all the major motherboard manufacturers, so that's good. Here at the top, we will see, of course, the power button. We got a reset button, we got audio connections, and then we got 2 connections for USB 3.0, and then an RGB cycling mode to change the color of the LED. And that is what you can expect from this case. Sadly, the motherboard didn't have an RGB header, so I have to update the motherboard as well. And this one was the one I could easily find. It's an Asus motherboard. Looks nice, has all the connections that I was looking for, and I think you can find it for about 110 euros. Then I got RGB memory from HyperX, which I got, if I don't mistake, for 75 euros. And then I got a update of the cooler, and I got an AIO cooler for this build. Of course, you can get an air cooler as well, much cheaper, for about 20 to 30 euros. So you can easily do an RGB upgrade for below 200 euros. So let's get started. Yes, finally everything is in the case and it works. It leaves us just one thing, and that's the RGB. And I have to tell you, RGB is a challenge. Now, why is it a challenge? Well, very simply put, there are two systems, not one, there are two systems. So one system is ARGB that works on 5 volts, and the other one is a regular RGB system and works on 12 volts. Of course, the two don't match. In this instance, even though the case is Aura Sync compatible, and of course the motherboard has Aura Sync, it doesn't mean it works together. Because Aura Sync simply means that it's a RGB system by ASUS, it doesn't say anything about the connectors. So the motherboard has a 12 volt connector, the case has a 5 volt connection. So there's an issue already. The same thing happens with the fans. So the fans on the Cooler Master AIO cooler are 12 volts, and then the fans on the Antec cooling grid that I put on are the 5 volt system. Thankfully, there is a solution, and this is the solution. It's an RGB converter, so it switches between one system to the other. It's originally made by Deepcool, but they brand it under Gamerstorm, and it costs about 20 euros. So we're gonna put this little fucker in here somewhere between the wires, reconnect everything, and then go from this one to the motherboard, and that should put everything into sync and helps us to make sure that we don't have to press on a different little controller for each of these systems. So let's see if it works. As you can see, everything almost works. We can control the whole color thing with the ASUS Aura, and if you're paying close attention, you will notice that the only thing that isn't changing is this LED strip and the LED strip in the front. I don't know why, everything else works. So the only thing I have to do is make sure that I can connect the LED strips to the Antec fan controller that came with this one, because that one is working properly, and the one that came with the case for some reason isn't doing what I want. So I'm going to try and bypass it and then not use it all together. The only problem is I can't plug in this connector that came with the LED strips. So I'm going to make an adapter myself. I think it's 3 euros in components. So I'm going to make a little connector here and then go to a classic ARGB RGB header. And then hopefully, if I just connect these 3 wires and plug it into the Antec controller that came with this bracket, and then everything should work. So I ordered these components, and as soon as they get in, we will see what happens.